Hey, Friendos, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson, and available wherever fine podcasts are. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and the notify bell next to it just to make sure you're always getting your new Going In Raw notifications. This is, of course, Matt Chat. That's right. This is the show where we take a bunch of video questions from a bunch of patrons. At the $20 a month and up mark, you too can have your video question featured right here on Matt Chat. You as well. You answer the questions. You don't. I mean, you can if you want. It's technically you produce this show, so you can. You have to be a $20 and up patron though.
Yeah, I can do that.
Anyways, as I was saying, on the Patreon, look, you don't have to do $20. I mean, you do if you have to be on if you want to be on the show. But we also have a variety of reward tiers you should check out. It's a great way to support Going In Raw, starting from $1 and you to be stunned, shocked, beside yourself at how that's right, at how far $1 goes, £1 stealing goes. Anyways, we got a packed show today, Larson.
We do.
Why don't we go ahead and kick it off with Christopher Rampersad?
Yes.
And he's got a question about one lunatic fridge.
Yes.
Hello, Steven Larson. So last year, everybody wanted Dean Ambrose to turn heel. Well, now he's turning heel. And so far, do you think it's a success as it is, or do you think it failed before it could even start? Because he's more jokier than ever. And last night on Raw, the guy looked like Bane coming out. And it's not intimidating. It's more funny and not interesting. What do you guys think?
Thank you, Christopher.
Thank you, Christopher.
I'll go first. All right, man. I'm feeling good today. I'm feeling positive today. I'm not going to crap all over it. It hasn't been a great start, but there has been at least some amount of effort put into Dean Ambrose's heel turn. We've seen one promo where there's like an oil bin. What is
drum?
It? Oil drum. Thank you. That had a fire in it. He burned his Shield SWAT team gear garment thing. So he did that. That was okay. The promo's been okay. He came out. He did the vaccination thing. It was a little bit different. I kind of appreciate that. A little weird. And then he did the Bane thing. There hasn't been a whole lot of menace to his character. There was that one week when he was doing sort of a cat and mouse thing. That was kind of cool. I'd say, I'll put it this way. I believe the jury is still out until I see that TLC match coming up. At that point, I'll be a little more comfortable making a decision. One thing we have to remember, one thing we have to keep in mind is that evidently this heel turn came a lot earlier than it was originally planned. Maybe that's one reason why it's come off a bit awkward. It hasn't really, I think, generated the heat that I think they wanted it to. This feud should be the A story on Raw, and it kind of isn't. So I'm going to say the jury's still out. I still think they have time to kick it back into high gear. Oh, dude, here it comes. Oh, with fart noise. Thumbs down with fart noise. 2 thumbs down with fart noises.
It hasn't been a disaster.
Ooh.
It hasn't been a disaster, but so far it's been not complete, for the most part, an utter misfire.
Yeah.
There was one interesting bit in all of this that I thought was when Dean was saying, you know, what's going on now is us paying the price for being the Shield in the early days of the Shield. All the wrong that we did back in those days. Now we're getting our comeuppance. That was interesting. That was different.
Decent
I like
premise.
that.
Decent premise.
So it's good premise to work on. Fast forward 2 weeks, Dean completely contradicted himself, saying, you know, in the early days of the Shield, I was really proud of some of that stuff. Which one is it, Dean? Which one is it? Mm-hmm. Which one is it? There's not a whole lot of vision, not a whole lot of consistent direction, not a whole lot of clarity. I'm not sure exactly what Dean's motivation is by Dean's own admission, or by his own words. It seems like he's not clear what his motivation is. And I don't need him to come out and drop a promo with like a whiteboard saying, this is why I did this.
Oh,
but at this stage,
that'd
be fine. At this stage, it should be clear. You brought up the oil drum bit, the vaccination bit. What was missing from both those bits? Atmosphere. The oil drum bit where he burned his Shield vest, it was obvious he was just like in the players' parking lot in the arena they were at.
They should have Mustafa Ali's guy do it.
Yes, they needed some atmosphere. Same with the vaccination bit. That was obviously just somewhere backstage at the arena. Give me some atmosphere. During the recap following that episode, I said, imagine the scene from Batman, Tim Burton's Batman, when Jack Napier makes his way out of Axis Chemical and goes to this doctor, and tries to get himself fixed up. Something like that. Dark, grimy. Give me some atmosphere. That's what this is lacking. There's zero atmosphere. Like every week, the Usos can have a promo, and it's rich with atmosphere.
Yeah, right.
You know?
They just cut some run-of-the-mill promo, and it's amazing.
They're introducing Team SmackDown for Survivor Series, handing out shirts. It's like, man, this has got some great atmosphere.
Yeah.
And Dean, he's turning heel. He's this lunatic guy. There's no atmosphere in anything he does. I'm starting to think, and I want to be proven wrong on this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting to think that any
conspiracy theory?
No conspiracy.
Vince is tanking it on purpose.
No, I'm starting to think that at least WWE's idea of Dean Ambrose, face or heel, isn't the idealized. Like, we see potential in him to do maybe really good things from a character standpoint.
Yeah.
Yet, for the most part, we haven't really seen it. And I don't know if his creative is behind it, or when Dean was on the Stone Cold podcast, Stone Cold called him out for his complacency.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but it seems like everything is kind of played safe with the guy who's supposed to be a madman. You know?
Let me ask you something. In retrospect, looking back at that Stone Cold podcast, did Vince tell Steve Austin to say that?
I don't know.
Because do you think Steve Austin watches Raw and SmackDown every week?
I don't know if he watches it every week, but I know he watches the product because he talks about it.
Yeah,
on the show.
All right. Because like now that I'm thinking back on it, I wonder if that was a Vince thing. Because it's kind of an uncomfortable thing to say.
Yeah.
Hey, you're lazy at your job.
Yeah.
In front of everybody.
Yeah.
It's a bit weird.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, I agree with a lot of what you said. There's kind of you can take the flip side of what Dean Ambrose did this past week with the vaccination thing, and he comes out and he's got the gas mask on because of these people. And take a look at how really well done that general idea was done with Daniel Bryan, with the fickle stuff and him shutting down the crowd. And it just feels so much more organic, and it works so much better.
It seems to me is a situation where someone creative goes to Dean and goes, all right, you're a heel now. Mm-hmm. And I think this is probably actually how it actually went down. Whereas we know Daniel Bryan was lobbying for a heel turn for a while. He's probably had this character in mind in his head for years.
That could be
Daniel Bryan has. Whereas Dean,
he probably came up with the character
in the hyperbaric chamber.
Yeah.
Whereas Dean, he showed up to Raw that day,
yeah,
not knowing it was going to happen.
Yeah.
First, he finds out one of his brothers in the Shield, Roman Reigns, had a reoccurrence of his cancer. And then I don't know if he found out he was turning heel before the show or during the run of the show. And then he's like, okay, I guess I'm a heel now, without actually laying out what this new character was. And so he just has to be bad guy Dean Ambrose now, rather than a distinct character from really what he was. He instead of doing heroic things, acting with valor, he's just, he insults the crowd.
I wonder if they take for granted how smooth he can be with improv on the mic. When they throw Bray Wyatt out there, granted we haven't seen him in a little while. Hopefully that'll change soon.
Yes.
When we see Bray Wyatt, they say, okay, you're in the bowels of the arena. It wouldn't surprise me with Bray Wyatt if they said, do your thing. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't surprise me at all with Dean Ambrose if they said, hey, we're going to cut back. We're doing this cat and mouse thing. We're going to cut back to you 3 times during the show. You're going to be in various places in the arena. Do your thing for 3 minutes or whatever. That's not advisable because it's not giving true direction.
Well, here's the problem is that Bray's character is so well established, and I'm sure Wyndham Rotunda knows exactly who his character is.
Yeah, but one of the problems with Bray Wyatt is usually that he talks in such circles that it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah,
and that was kind of the same thing with Dean Ambrose. Is that I think Dean probably in his head can at least fashion an idea of what his character is. It's when you're talking and you're not really given a lot of direction in terms of where this is going, what your true motivation is supposed to be, you're going to talk in circles, and it's going to probably mean nothing. And I just get the feeling that that's sort of maybe what's happening.
It could be. I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, I think at least with Bray, he talks in circles, but he knows his character's voice.
Yeah.
He knows how his character would present any idea, no matter how nebulous it might be.
Yeah.
Whereas Dean, I just don't think they know what his character is yet.
Yeah.
I think that's just what it is.
I wonder. I also kind of wonder if when he mentioned the Roman has to, deal with God now. I wonder if that made anybody uncomfortable, and they decided to switch gears on that general premise in the first place.
I mean,
that's why we got what we got this week.
That could be. I mean, it's broaching uncomfortable territory.
It is, and I'm not sure how far they want to go with that. So I wonder if they decided to pull back. That was 2 weeks ago. If they wanted to pull back and then do the vaccination thing last week, and then just sort of go in a different direction, because it did feel like there was.
It did feel like he was self-conscious saying it.
No, it totally did. And it also felt like there was something kind of clear with that 2 weeks ago. And then last week they started doing the vaccination thing, and it changed, And they're going in a different direction. So I don't know. I don't know, and it feels like they don't know, and that's the main problem. And that's why
a massive problem.
That's why it's been more of a miss than
That's why it's been
anything.
more or less a complete miss, yes.
Yeah.
Next up, Hall of Famer Christian!
Hey Steve, hey Lars, this is the Hall of Famer Christian here with yet another Matt Chat question. At work again, no bosses again. So, John Cena is coming back soon. He's going to come to a house show in DC, where I'm from, this December. My question for you guys is, as the road to WrestleMania ramps up, as it begins at the Royal Rumble, what role should John Cena play in the road to WrestleMania? Too sweet, hearty handshake. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Christian.
Go ahead.
Oh, man, this is what you do. So Cena's going to start working some house shows around the holidays. I think he's going to be at the big, I think he's going to be at the MSG show.
I think going to let him. Is he going to cut his hair
day after Christmas? Oh, I read somewhere that he doesn't like his hair that long. It's just for the movie. He's going to cut it back. He's going to cut it off.
I can't wait to see that. He looks so dejected with that long hair.
I know.
He's self-conscious with it.
This is what he needs to do heading into Mania season. And it's not a popular idea. I don't think it'll be, because it means he's in the main event scene vying for a world title. However, I think there could be some good stories here.
Oh, I think this is a great idea.
This is what you do. You get John Cena to challenge Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. You got the story, Cena going for number 17, breaking Ric Flair's record. You got the wealth of backstory between John Cena, Nikki Bella's ex, and you got Daniel Bryan over here. They could have been brothers-in-law.
They could have been brothers-in-law.
That's not even to mention the dynamic between the two characters as they exist now. Cena's still Cena. He's still Super Cena whenever he shows up, although he kind of say this is the checked-out Cena era. Because when he does show up more often than not, he's more or less checked out. Regardless, with this new Daniel Bryan character, I think there'd be some great mic work.
Oh, yeah.
A great match.
Yeah.
In the end, I think you still need to have Daniel Bryan go over. But I think that's the way you go. Because like a couple weeks ago, we were like, who's Daniel Bryan going to face at Mania? It seems like Miz, Shane, AJ, maybe HBK, some sort of dream match situation. Like all the top contenders seem like they got feuds that would naturally go into Mania. Bring in John Cena, challenge Daniel Bryan. That's how you do it.
The only problem with that, the only problem in terms of realistically, what could happen with that is Vince wouldn't want Cena on SmackDown.
Oh, I mean,
you don't think so?
John's above brands. I don't think that's an issue.
Here's the thing, though. Raw's ratings are in the crapper.
We just saw SmackDown's ratings. Those aren't great either.
I know, but something tells me Vince, if he were to pull the trigger on Cena coming back for a title run, he'd want it to be on Raw. I mean, maybe not because the Universal title scene's so weird there.
Yeah.
I would love that. I just kind of wonder if Vince would say, SmackDown, why would it be on that? It's the B show. It's a recap show.
It's like, Vince, it's not a recap show anymore.
But I love that
really
idea.
Strong
I think it's a fantastic idea. However, I like my idea as well. Goldberg comes back as a gold-plated superhero.
We did this in We Book Raw.
He fights John Cena Thugonomics 03.
We did this on We Book Raw.
Yeah. It's a great idea. They're going to be fighting at WeBook. Are they doing a thing? We're doing a new. They haven't fought yet.
No, yeah,
they?
that's true. We're setting this up for our TLC.
Yeah. At WeBook TLC, it's Thugonomics Cena 03 versus Super Goldberg, and it's going to be great next week on WeBook Raw.
That's this week.
Live.
It went up yesterday, actually.
What? Oh, this coming week.
Setting up for the match.
This coming
past
Friday.
Saturday.
This
and
coming
then Friday
Friday
we'll be
morning.
streaming it, and then Sunday.
This coming Friday morning.
TLC Sunday.
That's
It'll go up on YouTube.
Twitch.tv/Steven Larson.
Next, Thayer Thabata has a Matt Chat question.
It's there at the bottom.
This week, the Friendoverse wants to know, why are NXT matches so much better than main? Is it because they have so much time to put them together? Or is it because they have so much more freedom to put it together how they want to put it together? Me personally, I usually don't give my own answers to this, but personally, I just think it's because of the freedom. I mean, just look at the G1. They only get maybe a few days to put those matches together, and they're some of the best matches of the year. But that's just my take. That's what the Friendoverse wants to know. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Thayer Thabata.
I don't know how much time they have. The G1 point is actually a pretty interesting one.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of matches in a very short amount of time.
Yes.
Well, actually, it's a fairly long amount of time, but considering how close these matches are together,
Yes.
it's a really short amount of time, and there are some spectacular matches. How do they do that? How do they plan that out? It could be, as they're suggested, a certain amount of booking freedom, given that it's a tournament where the matches, I know they do weave some amount of storyline there, but it's mainly just matches for the sake of matches for the sake of the tournament. I think that would probably free them up because they don't have to worry about specific storylines. So that is kind of an interesting question. The NXT thing, I think the main component is just lots and lots of time and preparation. That was the most striking thing for me when I went to the Performance Center because of the 2K Games thing, was walking by a ring where War Machine and Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch, I think, were planning out a match, and to see them, understanding that they had probably been there for a couple hours, and they have as long as apparently necessary to put on these stellar matches to prepare them bit by bit, story beat by story beat. That's it. I mean, that's totally why. Even in my interview with Shinsuke Nakamura, he said, in NXT, I didn't have to change my style at all. When you get to main roster, you have to change to the WWE style and work the match and hit all the beats in a very short amount of time as compared to an NXT match. So I imagine it's all the time they have for preparation versus on main roster, none of the time that they have for preparation. In fact, there was recently, just in the past couple of days, I forget where this interview took place, but Matt Riddle talked about how much more time he has to spend with his family because he relocated them to Orlando, and he's got so much more time for that. And he says, I never really had time to train a whole lot because of my crazy schedule. And he said, now I'm with the best trainers in the world. Those guys all focus on that product and developing those guys, the developmental aspect of things. And that goes into why those takeovers have really become, it is kind of masterful that they've developed NXT takeovers specifically to be their art house films, their award-winning films, basically, to use
Oscar contenders.
A loose analogy there.
Yeah. No, I think it is a lot of it is the time they are afforded to work out the matches, but I think there's got to be a certain amount of freedom they probably have from a creative standpoint, and also maybe from the technical wrestling standpoint, to develop the storylines, both I guess in the ring predominantly. But no, I can't disagree with anything you said. It's got to be they have. What, takeovers are quarterly, more or less? You can get 3 months to plan a match out and work it and get it down.
I mean, I think the freedom aspect also comes in so when you do these matches on main, it seems they roll them out through the house show circuit, in which case you're performing those matches. If you take a look at, for example, any of the Ciampa Gargano matches, they wouldn't be doing those on the circuit because of the damage they'd be taking. Those are vicious
brutal
matches. Those are brutal matches. And so the freedom might come into play where it's, well, normally we're not going to let them do that on like certain moves on main or certain sequences on main because that's stuff they'd have to be doing the entire time. Whereas TakeOver, you're going to be doing that one time during a match that happens one time.
And that's it.
And so, yeah, they probably do get some freedom to do more things. The G1 question is a very interesting question, though, because, they don't have a lot of time, but they're putting on great match after great match.
Yeah.
That's probably a bit more the freedom aspect of things. They probably,
I mean, I guess that's kind of my impression of how this is predominantly based on Kenny Omega's appearance on Chris Jericho's podcast, where they were working out the beats of their matches.
Yeah,
Their match at Wrestle Kingdom last year.
Yeah.
So I imagine it's a lot about like what you hear at independent shows where, the wrestler shows up, find out who they're wrestling for the day, and they go in the locker room and work out the match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then if you got some of the best wrestlers in the world, like New Japan does, that just yields awesome matches.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think also the thing about the G1 is that there's
a competitive aspect. Pardon me to interrupt you. Competitive aspect. I don't mean in terms of kayfabe, wins and losses. I think people want to go out there and have the best matches.
It's the time of year where they distill the best wrestling.
Yes.
They say, look, you're right. I think we've heard that there's a competitive aspect to it where they're all trying to put on the best performance, the best matches. So that's probably it too. It's like I'm not going to say they wait until the G1, but the G1 is when they're like, okay, what can we do to really kill it?
Yeah. Next, got a question from Graham. See what Graham has to say.
Graham.
Hi Steve, hi Larson. Right, my question is, Steve, I want you to debate why the Undisputed Era should go to SmackDown, and Larson, I want you to debate why the Undisputed Era should go to Raw. Too sweet, hardy handshake.
Thank you, Graham.
Okay, where should Undisputed Era go? Yeah, I know the creative on Raw has been trash. It's been hot garbage. It's terrible of late. But here are some reasons Undisputed Era should go to Raw. One, there's basically no competition in the tag division. They can win those belts immediately. Two, and this is perhaps top reason, once Kevin Owens returns from injury, say he returns to Raw, you either get Kevin Owens with Undisputed Era or Kevin Owens versus Undisputed Era. Any sort of equation that's Kevin Owens plus Undisputed Era is going to equal greatness.
That's going to be so good.
I know.
They're probably going to wait like 2 years to get to it, though. They're never going to cross paths. It's so annoying.
Actually, that's really the primary reason. That's the first tops reason why I thought, just get me anything with Kevin Owens Undisputed Era. I want to see that.
Could you imagine, dude, if the Raw after WrestleMania, you get the possibility of Kevin Owens, Adam Cole, the Young Bucks, all on the same show.
Mount Rushmore wrestling, man.
What? How giddy would all those guys be?
Enormously.
To have that. I would think. I don't know. I would just think. Well, the obvious answer for SmackDown is the creative is obviously far superior to Raw's at this point. Although, look, one of the main reasons for them to be on Raw is, for one thing, the creative can change hands at any moment.
Yeah.
We've seen that happen where sometimes there's periods of time when SmackDown's crap and Raw's killing it and vice versa. And it's the A show. SmackDown right now, their creative is fantastic. You mentioned the tag team division. The tag team, I mean, I would love to see, Redragon or any iteration of the Undisputed Era against New Day, Usos, Thebar.
Oh, yeah, it'd be fantastic.
That's all in the club. That's all great stuff. The best wrestling kind of happens on SmackDown if you're talking about main roster. So Adam Cole's dream matches, AJ, Daniel Bryan, Shinsuke Nakamura, Jeff Hardy, Randy Orton. I mean, just the list goes on and on. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good reasons for SmackDown to get the Undisputed Era. But Raw's the A show. It depends on how Vince feels, on how Vince
views them, whether he thinks they're truly undisputed or not.
I love him to go to SmackDown, though. Those dream match scenarios for
hell yeah.
Cole and then the tag division.
Heck yes.
Woo! Even that freaking upper mid card.
Oh man,
add Roderick Strong to that.
Oh heck yeah.
Whoa.
Heck yeah. Wow.
Wow. Brendan Hargrove. Wow. Brendan Hargrove has a question. Let's see what he has to say. Wow.
Wow.
What's up, guys? Brendan Hargrove here with my very first Matt Chat question. And my question today will be, if you, Steve and Larson, were coming up in the wrestling ranks, decided to become professional wrestlers, would you rather start in the independents and wrestle in the VFW halls and work your way up, get 10, 15 years, and then get signed by the WWE? Or would you rather start from the Performance Center, work your way in developmental, get called up to NXT, and then maybe get called up to the main roster? Thanks, guys. See you guys later.
Thank you, Brennan.
Thank you, Brennan. Who goes
You
first?
do.
I go first. Look, as much as I'd love to be a journeyman in the car, long hours, eating road food, getting paid in peanuts and quarters, sacks of quarters perhaps, or sometimes I don't even get paid at all, dealing with shady promoters across the country. Here's the thing about developmental. Here's the thing about WWE developmental is that when you're picked for developmental, that means that Triple H himself has, or one of the coaches there, has already seen something in you that leads him to believe that maybe one day this guy, I could be pointing at him in a picture like this after making his debut on a takeover or main roster or whatever, however they do it. So I think that if you're already in developmental, you already have a step up because Triple H has feasted his eyes on you, and you already have a leg up. So there's that aspect of it. You're within the system that the WWE doesn't feel like they're going to have to. You won't have to unlearn what you have learned. They're going to teach you from a blank slate everything you need to know. We saw literally, that was me. I saw the very first match of Stacy Irwin Jr. against Cassius Ohno at the Performance Center, and he's a developmental guy, and he looked great, and so it was good. I'll go through the developmental system.
No, man. I like driving. I like hot dogs. I wouldn't mind getting paid in them. Here's the thing. Going through the indies is the surest way to build your own brand. If you can build your brand in the indies, parlay that into a fat. Here's the thing about.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. I'm sorry. Not to cut you off. Hold that thought. Keep that thought. That's what I was going to say. In developmental, if they pick you, there's a good chance that they're thinking, well, this guy's not going to be redundant. We don't already have a guy like that. If you're on the indies, you don't know. They might look at me and be like, oh, we already have a fat, lumpy guy. We don't need this loudmouth guy because we already have a loudmouth, fat, lumpy guy over here.
The thing is, for the most part, the turnover in NXT is high enough that maybe in 2019, they don't need the loudmouth. But in 2021, they might be in need of a loudmouth.
Fair enough. So
anyway, here's the thing. You spend the years, 5, 10 years, whatever, in the indies, not making a ton of money, putting your body on the line.
Never seeing your family.
Probably have some pretty cool experiences, though.
Probably.
But you build your brand up. So by the time it's time for you to sign with WWE and go to NXT, you're not getting the 25 grand all the other developmental guys are getting.
No, man.
You're getting low six figures. You're getting real money.
Yeah.
You get a move to Orlando, no state income taxes. You reap the benefits of that. Matt Ridley just mentioned gets to see his family a whole lot more, gets to focus on working out, and that's all because you put in the legwork to build up your brand. And look at NXT now. Who is at the top of the card? Predominantly former indie stars. It's pretty much Velveteen Dream's the only developmental guy I could think of in the men's division who's top of the card.
And he was like in the indie ranks
for a little bit.
But I mean, I think that my point about him is that he's not coming from a different sport.
Yes, no, I know.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so, like, when's the last time? Okay, so Authors of Pain right now.
Yeah,
they came from a different sport. I don't think they had any time in independence. And so, like, those guys are so few and far between. Mm-hmm. And you're right. I mean, that's the case for being an independent wrestling star first.
And I just feel like if the odds of success, if you have that wealth of experience under your belt hitting the WWE, the odds for success are far more in your favor than rolling the dice coming in from a completely different field of work, a completely different profession, trying to learn how to do things the WWE way.
Here's another point to add to your point, is that when you're coming up in the independent circuit, this is in the 1800s, what are you forging along the way?
Relationships
with other wrestlers who are coming up in the same independent circuit as you are. And once you get to the top, once you get to that point, you're going to have those relationships and other people that are coming from the independent ranks. You're going to be going to NXT with other relationships. And so it's always good. Politicking.
Build relationships.
Networking. Relationships.
Not politicking.
That's
building
good.
relationships.
Politicking is great. That's how Hogan got to the top. And is still to this day at the top. Brother.
Next, Stephen M's got a question.
I'm going to stop to Friendos because we'll do match. Irish linguistic expert Stephen M here with another match chat question. So, can't remember my original question because I was a bit stoned last night. So, I'm going to go with this one. Which female wrestler should be the next to win a traditionally male title? Say, like when China won the Intercontinental title. So, what female wrestler should do it? How should they do it? And who should they beat for that title? And which title should it be? Book the match. Pick different people because I know Becky would be a hot answer right now. Too sweet. Hardy handshake. Steve shoulder lean.
Thank you, Stephen M.
Thank you, Stephen M.
Oh, I mean, the story is already laid out for everybody.
Okay.
You have Seth. You have Becky. They're going back and forth at each other on Twitter about who the man is.
Okay.
Settle it in the ring.
Ooh.
Universal Champion Seth Rollins. Main event of WrestleMania versus Becky Lynch. WrestleMania 36. Becky Lynch puts the disarmer. Seth Rollins. She's been working that arm over for 25 minutes. Seth forced to tap out.
Ouch.
The man
is
the Universal Champion.
I like that scenario a lot.
This is right there. The story is there to be told.
I like that scenario a lot. However, I'm going to go with this one. Jazz winning the NWA title. She called out Nick Aldis said, I want a piece of that.
Yeah, she did.
Anyways, that'd be great if that happens. But in WWE, here's how you do it. The biggest debut in WWE in a while happens like this. Shinsuke Nakamura has that U.S. title, right? He dispenses of somebody at WrestleMania, gets rid of him. He's standing there at SmackDown about to deliver a promo about Welcome to Nack America. Well, Io Shirai debuts on SmackDown. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because when I was interviewing him, I was standing there watching somebody else interview him before I went up, and they asked him, who you want to see? Wait, was it me? I forget. Was it me who asked that? I forget. Either me or somebody else said, hey, who do you want to face that you see in NXT right now? And somebody jokingly said Io, because I guess he knows her, obviously. And he made a joke about something like that, her punching him in the face. That's the match I want to see. Io Shirai beats Shinsuke Nakamura with a beautiful, magnifique moonsault. And Io Shirai, new United States champion.
All right.
I love it. I think it's a great idea.
It's a good idea. Not as good as Becky beating Seth for Universal title, but still good.
That's good too.
Next, Devin the Dude. See what Devin the Dude has to say.
Hey, friendos. It's Devin the Dude here, back with another Mad Chat question. Back again from another main event. So thanks again. Hey, stars got to shine, right? This week is actually kind of a what-if scenario. What if Ronda Rousey never came to the WWE? How long would it have taken the women to get to the main event of WrestleMania? And who would have been in the main event of WrestleMania? My thoughts would have been a 4 horseman match with a ladder match is what I would have had as a dream match. But what are your thoughts? What would have been the best one-on-one match that would have maybe main event of WrestleMania? Or who would have been in it? Your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think. All right. Thanks again, and stay strong, brothers.
Thank you, Devin the Dude.
Thank you, Devin the Dude.
Interesting, speculative question here about Ronda. She hadn't come in WWE. I think it kind of makes me wonder if the one person who sort of maybe suffered the most because of Ronda Rousey has been Asuka. Without Ronda Rousey, the playing field is a lot more even because Ronda's kind of treated by WWE as tier 1. Becky is kind of at tier 1 at this point. And And I'm in the eyes of the fans, Becky's definitely tier 1, but you always have to think about, as you mentioned earlier, in the eyes of Vince McMahon, who's tier 1. Ronda's definitely tier 1 because they're paying her a ton of money. Becky is probably getting to tier 1 right now, given how they're pushing her. The merch that they've rolled out for her, usually the man merch, her being on posters, et cetera, et cetera. Asuka was very quickly on her way to tier 1. Did her call up precede? It preceded Rousey, didn't it?
Yeah, because Asuka's first match was at TLC a year ago, and then Rousey didn't show up until Rumble.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, I mean, yeah, so Asuka had already suffered that loss against Charlotte?
No.
That was at that Mania.
Yeah, the following Mania. Yeah,
the same Mania where Ronda made her debut was Asuka Charlotte.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of feel like if Ronda wasn't around clogging up that top of the card on Raw, that maybe that would have opened up an opportunity for her because, I mean, they were treating her like a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
So I think, I'm not sure. It seems like a certainty this year or 2019 that at Mania we're going to get the first women's main event at Mania. I kind of feel like Asuka Charlotte might have been in the books, but not nearly as much of a certainty. Mm-hmm. So I'll say that.
My answer is going to be Charlotte versus Becky, and it's predominantly because of what we've seen on TV over the last 6 months. Especially now with the angle they're taking with the feud where Charlotte, following her destruction of Ronda Rousey post-match at Survivor Series, Becky has labeled her a bootleg Becky, taking a different avenue with this feud now. And I could see it potentially if Ronda never come on. So granted, Charlotte never would have destroyed Ronda, but nonetheless, there's potential there with their chemistry in ring, their chemistry with each other on the mic, for a Charlotte-Becky program to get hot enough for it to main event WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. They're both so darn good. Mm-hmm. I mean, ideally, if you want to really give the fans something awesome, Charlotte, Becky, and Asuka, like we're going to see at TLC.
Yeah.
That's going to be something else.
Yeah.
That right there would be an awesome Mania main event.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. If they had somehow kept Asuka, maybe like have Charlotte and Becky doing their thing on SmackDown, kept Asuka undefeated, so you've got a really hot Charlotte-Becky feud dovetailing into an undefeated Asuka streak. That could have been something special. I need to book that one, though.
Yeah, no.
Next up, we have a new Matt Chatter by the name of Zenith64. And he's got a good question about NXT talents going to main roster. Let's see what he has to say.
Salutations, Friendos. So, Aleister Black, Velveteen Dream, Ricochet. These guys do really well on NXT because of their in-depth persona and their deep, character development. Let alone their wrestling skills are really next level. So, question is, which one would perform poorly and which one will perform great if they ever get moved up to the main roster? Because, history has it that sometimes the NXT star doesn't make a really well main roster star. Thanks.
Thank you, Zenith.
Thank you, Zenith.
For me, the surest bet, which isn't exactly his question, I don't know, but the surest bet of the three of those is Ricochet. Because he's the one that's least dependent on character. Him getting over is going to be his ability to wow the crowd, first and foremost.
It's a certainty.
Yes. Yes.
It's a certainty.
Yes. And short of him getting hurt and being unable to do any of the high-flying stuff, he will wow the crowd and he will get over based on his wrestling ability alone. He doesn't need character because he can do character work really well. But that's the issue with both Aleister Black and Velveteen Dream is that they get brought to main roster. Their creative is bungled, and they're put in a position where they can't portray the characters like they have been in NXT, which they've been doing excellently. So based on that logic, Ricochet.
I'm going to go with Aleister Black. I think you have a good point. But you look at another guy who's a terrific wrestler, and granted, he's in a completely different ilk than Ricochet. But you look at a guy like Almas, who's just a spectacular wrestler. He's not nearly as flashy as Ricochet, but he does really, really strong character work, granted, but they haven't really emphasized that too much. I think Vince or Kevin Dunn or somebody is just reluctant to use him as a character too much, maybe because of the language barrier thing, which is unfortunate because I think he's great in NXT.
Oh, he's awesome.
Yeah, he's fantastic. I'm not going to – I think Ricochet's going to be over guaranteed. Aleister Black has such – so here's the thing. I know I'm tempting fate right now, and I know I'm – but how really do you ruin Aleister Black?
I mean, we said that about Asuka too.
I don't think she's ruined.
No, I don't think she's ruined. But when they brought her up, they didn't really respect the mystique she had built in NXT a whole lot.
Yeah, but her mystique was built so much over the streak.
Yeah, I know.
And
but
that
no
was
one
a
on main
problem.
roster, pretty much everybody on main roster, no sold the streak.
I know, but once you lose, like, you got to do something.
No, I
else
understand
with
that. I'm talking about before that. When we said this countless times, when it was announced that Asuka was coming to main, I mean, 90% of the women's roster have been, oh shit,
yeah,
this is bad for us because Asuka beats everybody.
Yeah, but in the end, Asuka's in a really good spot.
No, I know. I'm not debating that. Just when she was first brought up.
Aleister Black, I know, and that kind of goes though. I see your point. That kind of goes to the hokiness of how they were booking her return versus if there was a male version of Asuka that was coming in with the same like streak, for example, like they're giving Lars Sullivan the kind of treatment that Asuka should have had. You know what I mean?
I know.
That's just the unfortunate nature of. And if they're giving Lars Sullivan this treatment, they're gonna give better treatment to Aleister Black.
You would like to think.
So I honestly think, given Aleister Black's look, I'm never gonna call anybody main roster proof, but at worst, he'll have a Shinsuke Nakamura ceiling, which is still a pretty good ceiling to have. The guy was fighting for the WWE title a lot, and now he's the United States champion. They still book him really, really strong. So I think that's a really, really good ceiling to have. I don't know. I kind of feel like Aleister and Ricochet are the two sort of surefire guys out of this trio here. Aleister, his whole shtick.
Oh, it's great.
It's just king.
It's
man.
great.
It's just king.
It's great.
Velveteen Dream, I'm not so sure about. Because the question here, that's the thing. The question, well, how can you ruin him? There are a million ways you can ruin Velveteen Dream. There are so many ways. And it doesn't help that he's like 19 years old, 23. He's 23, I think.
He's super young, yeah.
You know, when you're young, I think it's just easier to get lost in, the shenanigans of stuff, in the wrestling world.
Yeah, maybe.
I just think that, I'll put it this way. That's not the end all be all, but I think it probably doesn't help, So I don't know if there's anybody in NXT that I'm kind of worried about them ruining. It would be Velveteen Dream.
Yeah.
Probably more than almost anybody else.
Yeah.
Next,
got a question from Cactus Jackie. Let's see what Cactus Jackie has to say.
Hi, Steven Larson. Cactus Jackie here. So the XFL is officially coming to a city near me, and I'm so excited. Which sport should Vince McMahon revolutionize in his infinite wisdom now that he's finished with football? Thanks, friendos.
Thank you, Cactus Jackie.
Does she have that mask just chilling in her car? Does she wear that?
I don't know.
Does she live the
How
gimmick?
about this? You could shoot a Matt Chat question for Cactus Jackie and send it to her.
She could put on her Matt Chat show.
Exactly.
Maybe I'll do that. Hi, Cactus Jackie. This is Steve here. I have it with another Matt Chat question. Did you just keep that mask in your car? Or do you wear it everywhere you go? Thanks. Anyways. Oh, man. This is a great question, too.
This is a great question.
Which sport should Vince revolutionize now that he has conquered the football world?
The world of American football.
Did you get the early ratings yet on XFL?
Through
better than NFL.
They thought that they were going to have 5,000 people there. They had 7,500. Massive success. They almost filled the entire lower bowl at one of the smaller stadiums.
One side of it. Oh, man. Okay, so I came up with two ideas here. The first one I love because we personally know a member of the roster of one of these teams. Craig from Game Attack was on a slam ball team And if you guys don't remember what slam ball is, you need to Google or YouTube search
man.
that shit, because it was trampolines and basketball, and they would
on
run.
MTV.
I wonder, it's like, what do you think you would blow out doing that?
You mean joints?
Yeah.
Oh, knees.
Right?
Anything involving jumping, you're in danger of
Yeah.
blowing out your knees.
Yeah. Or getting hung on those, like busting your wrist on those rims because you're you're so high up.
And also, there's a danger too that if you're that high up, get your your lower half taken out from under you in midair.
Oh my
you can
gosh.
just fall right in your head.
Yeah, but then you're on trampoline, so you just bounce right back up.
Well, it depends. If you land like this, you're still probably gonna break your
You
neck.
gotta tuck. You gotta tuck.
Yeah,
your
you gotta
chin.
tuck.
It's not like a Styles Clash. So slam ball, and then also, from what I understand, the N1 mixtape thing got canceled.
Bummer.
That's street ball.
Yeah.
And because I guess the original owners sold it for like a ton of money, and then whoever bought it just had no idea what they had and ran it in the ground very quickly. But
N1 mixtape.
One of the graduates from the N1 mixtape tour, the professor, now is a YouTube viral sensation to this day. He's like 40 years old. To this day,
Still got great handles.
he dresses up in like Spider-Man outfits.
Stuff. Yeah.
And goes out there and hustles
Yeah.
for YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Balls up people.
Yeah, he's great.
So how about this? You bring back N1, but all as licensed superhero characters.
Okay.
Like it's like the Avengers show up and just ball you up.
All right, there you go. Okay.
Escalade as the Hulk.
Well, Escalade. I don't think Escalade's with us anymore, Steve.
Are you serious?
I think he passed away.
I think you mention that every time I bring
Yeah.
up N1.
I think he did.
Wow, man, that's a bummer.
It is a bummer. Escalade was great.
Who would skip to my Lou be? Captain America.
Yeah. What about hot sauce?
Hawkeye.
What about air up there?
Oh man, I mean, Falcon.
All right, that's all good answers.
I've thought about that too much. Oh man. All right, so what sport do you think
Yeah, maybe.
Oh yeah, 2011.
Passed away in 2011. That's a
Oh
bummer.
my goodness gracious. Big dude.
Oh, bodybuilding. Vince has no experience in that, right?
Is that what Ico Pro was?
No, Ico Pro is like a supplement.
Oh, okay.
He had his bodybuilding federation.
WBF,
I think it was. World Bodybuilding Federation.
WTF, you are too much.
Where he hired Lex Luger to be a competitor in there, not to be a wrestler. I think he's supposed to do commentary too.
Oh wow, double duty, huh?
Yeah, I guess
Is
so.
he gonna be up there like, and look at Lex Luger, look at me. I've got a 4.34 in marketing.
So, if Vince is going to take on another failed endeavor,
yeah,
why not the world of professional bodybuilding?
It's weird. It's weird that nobody has had the algorithm to crack mainstream crossover exposure with bodybuilding.
If I'm being honest, like it's impressive what the guys and women get jacked, and I understand there's competitive nature to it. It doesn't really make for exciting TV though. I mean, because they're all just doing this.
They all look really weird too. They all look super weird.
That's all they're doing.
Yeah, and they look weird.
Yeah.
Like usually they're like all bronzed up and they got these weird like all their faces look like bad photo captures for the creator wrestlers. Cause their face is usually like a different color.
Did you ever see the pictures
the
of
rest of their body.
Sid in bodybuilding competitions like circa 3 or 4 years ago?
No, it sounds great.
Oh, it's hilarious. He's in his little Speedo.
Sid UD bodybuilding.
Yeah, it's great.
Let's take a look here.
But like recent pictures. There you go.
That's great. He looks amazing.
Oh yeah, he's still jacked.
Oh, good for him. Is this like the old timers version?
Maybe.
Like I can basically see that dude fell in.
Like I don't know if there's like a bodybuilding seniors tour, like there is for golf.
Ouch. That's a rough comparison right there. Why would anybody be
So-
like that? I mean, good for Sid.
Yeah, great for Sid.
Dude. Like he's got the face of like an 80-year-old grandma, but then the body of a Greek god.
Yeah, I know.
An Adonis right there.
But here's the thing: if
And you
Vince
can see his bell in.
if Vince wants to bring back WBF, you got badass Billy Gunn. He's jacked.
That dude is jacked daddy.
He's jacked. He could be the centerpiece. Man, he's ripped. Look at that six pack.
That looks like he's about to slide into some DMs there, man. Oh,
Yeah, that looks like he's sliding into some
Is
DMs.
he combing his hair right
Yeah.
there? He's making sure those curls are lush. I love it. What the heck? Anyways,
Bodybuilding.
What a great question that was.
Next.
Thanks, Cactus Jackie.
Yes, thank you, Cactus Jackie. Next, the Enforcer.
The Enforcer, a new member of the Fun Wrestling roster.
Yes.
Via GIR Illuminati.
Yes, let's see what the Enforcer, Stevie Bradley, has to say.
Hey, Steven Larson and all the friendos. It's the Enforcer. I got a question about Hall of Fame inductions, and I just want to talk about the women. Right now on the main roster, who do you feel are surefire Hall of Famers? And also, with a bit of longevity or pushing or, changing character, could actually, that are on the borderline, actually do become Hall of Famers? Let me know your thoughts. Too sweet, hearty handshake.
Thank you, the Enforcer.
Thank you, the Enforcer.
All right, here's my list. The surefire Hall of Famers in my estimation. You got Charlotte. Well, it goes from sure thing and descends from there.
It's a scale.
Charlotte, Mickie James, Natalya, Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, Alexa Bliss. At the very end of this, but it's like this Alicia Fox. She's been a women's champion. She's been around forever. I can see a day when she gets in. Bailey, Asuka, and Naomi get some more accolades, some more championships. I can see them going in as well.
Man, you're crazy. Asuka is second on the list in terms of surefiredness. It goes Charlotte, Asuka, Mickie James, Becky Lynch, and then a whole bunch of Ronda Rousey. Then Alexa, then Sasha. That's order of importance.
No, I think Asuka, based on what she's done so far in her career, deserves induction. However, Vince only cares what happens, for the most part, what happens when she sets foot on main roster.
Cody Rhodes said it best. He said, Vince knows everything that's going on in NXT. He approves everything, including that undefeated streak. He knows.
And yet he's never, according to Triple H, never watched an entire episode in one sitting.
Who do you believe?
Triple H.
Get out of town.
Hell yeah, man. That thing.
I believe
Why would
Cody.
Triple H say, yeah, Dad's never watched an episode of NXT in one sitting?
Oh, easily. Are you kidding me? Because he deals with the press all the time. Because it's probably, he's trolling people.
Cody trolls people all the time.
But that's an obvious troll. Cody also likes to show off that he knows shit in the WWE.
They're not mutually exclusive statements. Vince could be aware of what was going on in NXT. He can get his NXT reports on his desk every Thursday morning, but not actually watch the show.
Does he watch Going In Raw to find out the latest on NXT?
Oh, hell no.
No?
No.
You think so?
Uh-uh.
I think you're wrong about that.
No,
I'll
I think
have to
I'm
ask Cody, 'cause I think he knows the real stuff.
Yeah, run it by Cody, see what he says.
I am fascinated to find out what Vince does and doesn't know about NXT. I am very curious to know his just general thoughts on it.
Yeah. Well, I was reading this thing, and granted, I don't remember where it's from, and I don't know how truthful it is, where Lars was not supposed to. They weren't supposed to start running his vignettes until after TLC, and it was all leading up to a debut at the Rumble, where he was going to choose what brand he was going to be on, and then apparently Vince saw the vignette and says, "No, we need to start rolling these out now."
Oh my God! I wonder if that's true.
I don't know. Now there's two things: either he had no idea who Lars Sullivan was.
Which that sounds like, if that's true,
and
that
then
sounds
saw
the
the
case.
vignettes and was like, well, this guy's jacked. He's huge. Let's bring him up now. Or he knew who Lars was, but was so impressed with the production value of the vignettes, he couldn't wait for the public to see them.
If what you're saying is true, it is the first one.
Yeah, probably.
He doesn't know what's going on in NXT.
Probably.
That was I don't know. I am legitimately curious about that. We'll have to do some research. Let's put on our journalist hats. Do you know where your journalist hat is? Because I think I lost mine.
Yeah, mine got lost in the move.
Keenan's got a question.
A new Matt Chatter.
Keenan, let's see what he has to say.
Hey Friendos, I'm Keenan, brand new Matt Chatter, and I'm a big fan of New Japan, so I had an interesting question for you guys. Who is the coolest member of Suzuki-gun, besides Minoru Suzuki, of course, and why is it Miho Abe? Thanks, Friendos. Too sweet, hearty handshake.
Thank you, Keenan.
Keenan.
Backwards, his name is Nanik. So anyways, the coolest member of Suzuki-gun, not named Minoru Suzuki. He's also got a fancy for Tai Chi's lady friend. It's Zack Sabre Jr. Oh, Zack Sabre Jr. Hey, I don't care if your name is Minoru Suzuki. It's Zack Sabre Jr. He's the coolest guy of Suzuki-gun, even including Minoru Suzuki.
Wrong.
You know why? Because he loves animals and he's British. Two things that I really appreciate in a human.
Did you see that clip of after Minoru Suzuki's celebration show? He was walking around there with a plastic bag picking up garbage.
What is he, a young lion? Get out of here with that.
No, that just proves what a great dude he is. He cares about our planet. Minoru Suzuki is the best. He is the coolest wrestler on the entire planet.
Zack Sabre Jr. is very cool.
Yeah, he is cool.
He also
I bought a t-shirt.
recycles and does cool stuff.
I bought a t-shirt from him at a PWG show. He seemed like a very lovely man.
Bully for you.
He's like a really nice
Fine.
guy.
Who do you think the coolest member? This is your terrible answer for this.
He's got tearaway pants. How cool is that? It's Taichi.
Not at all. Not at all.
The dude has like 5 different gimmicks at one time. He's part.
That is true. But
he's
that's
got a
not
little bit
cool
of Phantom of the Opera thing where he's got the mask and he comes out lip syncing.
Stripper.
He's got the tearaway pants bit.
That's
he always
stripper.
carries the ring mallet.
Yeah.
And didn't he come out with whiskey once?
Oh, so he's an alcoholic.
All that.
Did you mention the singing stuff?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
That's a Phantom of the Opera thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on. It all works. Taichi.
No, that's okay. So the first thing you said is true. The second thing you said is not true.
Taichi.
There's a lot going on. None of it works.
No, it works.
And on top of that,
he's wildly entertaining. You can't
he-
dispute that.
I will give you that. He is entertaining, and his pants are too small. His little trunks are too small.
Yeah,
His
that's true.
Top of his butt crack's always out.
Well.
No bueno. It's Zack Sabre Jr. God, that guy's amazing.
He is amazing.
Ryan Rugani has a question. Let's see what he has to say.
Friendos, my question this week is I get to go to TLC and see 2 awesome triple threat matches. Reminds me of the Benoit, Michaels, Triple H one from WrestleMania that I'm very looking forward to. I want you guys to each pick a tag team and singles triple threat match from each brand, New Japan, NXT, and Raw. And let me know what your fantasy triple threats would be. Too sweet and a hearty handshake.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you, Ryan.
All right, here for tag matches, I want Young Bucks versus New Day versus the Revival.
Oh, okay.
For a singles match, give me Roman Reigns. I mean, your answer is kind of the right answer, but give me Roman Reigns versus Randall Orton versus Kazuchika Okada.
Wow. All right.
Star power.
Here's what I want for the singles match. Finn Balor, real. AJ Styles, real. And Kenny Omega. All members and a former member, all former leaders of Bullet Club.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see.
Yeah, that's kind of the right answer.
In the tag team ranks, I would want to see. Who do you have? The young. Okay, give me the Usos.
Yeah, that's good.
Give me Gorillas of Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
And then
someone from Raw.
Who did you put? Oh,
Revival.
right. Oh, that's a good answer, but I'm going to stay away from them. I'll go with what tag teams are on Raw? Who's the champion?
Rude and Gable. Author's Pain.
No, man.
The Ascension.
Oh,
Lucha House Party.
Oh yeah, Lucha House Party.
They get in by default.
Wait, no, hold on. I'm going to back up. What Lij? They're
Sonata and Evil, yes.
No, the other two.
What?
Doesn't Bushi and that new kid didn't they tag
Yeah,
in
the junior tag
yeah,
league,
okay,
yeah.
them.
All right.
Them
All right.
versus Lucha House Party.
Uh-huh.
And then over on SmackDown, the Usos.
All right.
Sure.
I think this was a really good.
They're really good.
Next question from Andy Nero. See what Andy has to say.
Look at these wankers talking some nonsense. Hey everyone, it's Andy Nero, the heel that makes good points, with a match check question. I'm literally watching today's SmackDown recap. I just wanted to ask, is there a way that you could save and salvage the League of Nations? The other day it was referenced that I suggested that the League of Nations was better than last week's Raw and this week's Raw, and I think there is a decent way of salvaging it using the Bullet Club philosophy. Discuss. Too sweet. Hi, handshake. Take care.
Thank you, Andy Nero.
Thank you, Andy Nero.
Andy was claiming foul in last week's chat trivia. Remember when he was saying that YouTube was blocking him for too many answers?
Yeah, that's
controversy
weird.
in chat
weird.
trivia.
I've never seen that before.
Yeah, that was weird.
You go first.
All right.
I kind of feel like he stole most of my answer, but anyways.
Well, no, okay, so yeah, no, for sure, man. This is a collaborative thing. I did steal this first one with you, although I'm saying you replaced Del Rio with Kevin Owens. and then you fire Del Rio from WWE and professional wrestling. Okay, so he's gone forever, for good, from anywhere. No more Del Rio.
All right.
Wade Barrett you keep, but he reverts back to Bad News Barrett.
Okay.
And he's a manager.
All right.
So he's just got his podium, and he's like, whenever they win, he doles out the bad news about the loss to the other team. And then you add Cesaro, because the only way Sheamus is good is with Cesaro. So you've got Sheamus, Cesaro, Rusev, Kevin Owens, and Bad News Barrett all on the same team. And then maybe you throw Sami Zayn in there too.
That's what you do. You give Kevin Owens the Sheamus spot. So it's not Sheamus that beats Roman Reigns or has the W title. It's Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens, leader of League of Nations and WWE champion. So he's in the feud with Roman Reigns. And then you kick Del Rio out. And like Steve said, if you want to release him from the company, that's fine too. You give Sheamus that spot. And then you just focus nearly exclusively on Kevin Owens and Rusev, their chemistry, because I think it would be wonderful. They're both funny, entertaining, can be mean when they need to be mean. I think if they were the focus of League of Nations, KO, Rusev, and then Sheamus and Wade Barrett can kind of be bit players.
I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
That's a formula for success right there.
Yeah. And then put Adam Cole in there, Mike Bennett, Matt Taven. Kingdom.
Zach S has a question. Let's see what Zach S has to
the end
say.
of the video. I wonder if anybody gets this deep into the video.
What's good, Steve Morrison, many friendos out there? It is your Match Chat Hall of Famer, Zach S, coming at you with another Match Chat question. Question of the week is, Stephen Larson, I want you two to book a Friendoverse. The Friendos, use them in a Friendoverse WrestleMania. What's the main event? Who's in the Battle Royal? Who wins the Battle Royal? All that stuff. Who's facing, The Undertaker or the Friendoverse? Whatever. Do that with the Friendos for a WrestleMania card with the Friendos. Thanks, boys.
Thank you, Zach S.
Thank you, Zach S.
Here, instead of WrestleMania, it should really be like a Survivor Series situation. There's so many factions going on within the Friendoverse. You got Discord Club versus the Friendoverse Facebook group. You got the GIR Illuminati. You got the Freak Legion.
Yeah, man.
There's so many different groups.
A lot going on.
They need to be in Survivor Series matches.
Gang rules. Zzz. Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm down with that.
That's my idea.
Yeah. No, I like that. I would say this. The main event would just be Cody Miles versus Mikey Omega.
The two head moderators, right?
The Discord, the Friendoverse, head-to-head. They seem to, especially Cody Miles, seems to really want to instigate a lot of violence against Friendoverse, even though they're a closed they're like, they're not trying to start any shit.
No, that's good.
They're just trying to have a positive community, and the Discord's like,
that's great.
The devil.
Well, I mean, I feel like Discord needs tranquilo a little bit.
Wow, shade being thrown at Discord.
Well, I mean, they're out there starting some crap.
Man,
tranquilo a little bit.
Wow,
some fun,
some
little fun.
Man.
Trash talk back and forth is fine, but if you're saying they're trying to instigate some serious stuff,
I didn't say that.
You did say that.
Ooh, where are you getting your info from?
You just said that.
Dirt sheets.
You just said that. They're all great.
The rumor mill.
They're all great.
You're backtracking now. Confirmed. Larson hates all of our audience members.
They're all great.
They're all great.
They are all great.
Zach S is the biggest winner, though. He comes out on top of everything.
He cashes in.
Yeah, he murders everybody.
Oh, my God.
He's our only lone standing fan. Everybody else is dead. It's going to be like an episode of WCW. I am up to 8 people that I'm going to murder in the first episode of WCW.
People don't get so burnt out of all the death.
No, man. They're going to love it.
No. One final question in text form from Tim Morris. He says, is there a wrestler who you really like but are worried WWE will drop the ball on them? I'm a massive Almas fan, but I'm worried he won't hit the heights he should on Maine. Virtually anybody who's brought to Maine, I'm worried won't reach their full potential.
Yeah, man. It's like, ooh. Yeah, for me, it's Aleister Black. I said earlier he's main roster proof. Nobody's main roster proof.
And that's the issue.
It's all just a bad situation, man. You bring him up, they're gonna rebrand him as like an ice cream man or something. Oh, it's all gonna be bad.
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, hey, you got too many tattoos, laser them off and be less cool. So like, these are a part of my life. I can't laser them off.
Laser them off.
Yeah.
It's like, Alistair's like, I'm going to be out for a year. Getting all these tattoos lasered off. Don't you see, Vince? They're all over my person. Laser them off.
Do you have any near your lower bits? Why would you ask me that?
Frankly, that's none of your business.
Let me say.
Oh, my God.
Can you throw up? Yeah, puke.
Yeah, puke.
Vince, one day, is he ever just going to go just crazy, just batshit crazy and start just doling out weird gimmicks left and right? Nobody can do anything.
You read what the names they were going to give Stone Cold were, didn't you?
Chili McFreeze. He's a cold-blooded assassin. Chili McFreeze. We'll have him kill people live on air. We don't insult your intelligence anymore. Contemporary.
Oh, what a vicious killer, Chili McFreeze.
Oh, what another great episode of Matt Chat.
Yeah, that's all right.
This was stellar.
Yeah, it was fine.
This was stellar. Chili McFreeze. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Until next time, talk to you guys later.
Bye.